Aloha, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I wanted to talk about a topic that is very important, that not only will resonate with the people of Hawaii, but people anywhere around the world, no matter who you are or where you're at. And this is in light of the disastrous catastrophe that happened in Maui just recently with the Lahaina fires. It's deemed to be one of the most disastrous events in modern day US history. And for me, as a Hawaiian living on the island of Oahu, it really truly hits home. I mean, after hearing the countless stories of heartbreak and loss, some of these people not only lost property, but they lost loved ones. And also as well, seeing the ball drop in so many different areas. I mean, there were things that should have happened that didn't. There were things that could have happened that could have saved a lot of lives. And so, as a local here in Hawaii, I really did have more questions than answers. And one of those questions happens to be regarding the current system that is in place by our local government that is meant to protect property and are meant to protect lives. I wonder if the current situation that we have here in the islands of Hawaii is even a reliable system. Can we depend on the system that the government has to alert us of impending dangers or doom? Can we depend on our government officials to be open with us and to communicate with us so that we can ensure that what happened in Maui will not happen here on Oahu or any other island? So in thinking about this question, I actually thought about someone who could possibly shed some light on the issue. And this particular person I've been following on YouTube ever since the pandemic started. And she just had such a great wealth of knowledge and of insight regarding preparedness in a pandemic, during a natural disaster, or even maybe even an unforeseen situation like the one that happened in Maui. And so I had the awesome honor and privilege to actually sit down with her and have a conversation, literally picking her brain to see how we as individuals can be proactive in situations where they're unexpected, catastrophic situations, that we can do something to give us the advantage to protect not only the things that matter to us, but protect the ones we love. And so I wanted to introduce you to the host of the YouTube channel Hawaii PREPPER'S 808. She has over 30 years of prepper experience. She started back in 1992 during Hurricane Iniki, and she has carried much of us through the pandemic. She is just absolutely qualified to talk on this subject. She is a part of a larger network of preppers from all over the country. Her name is Bonnie, and I just had a blast talking with her. I also want to note that we did have some technical difficulties during the interview. So much of what is shared will be subtitled, but I did not want to pass up the opportunity to present to you information that could potentially save not only your property, but those you love. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you Bonnie. Maybe if you can share a little bit about yourself, you know, why you got into prepping, how long have you been a prepper? I know we talked about that a little bit from before, but why you got into prepping, how long? I consider you an expert. But what has fueled this desire to want to be a prepper, and how long has it been since you've been one?
I don't consider myself, first of all, an expert because I'm still learning. You know, there's always a learning curve going on, and you're continuously learning when it comes to all things preparedness, such as filling in gaps and holes, and you continuously learn. So that's what I like about prepping or preparing. And I started about 30 years ago, or a little bit over 30 years, when Hurricane
Uh-huh.
Iniki
That's
came,
right.
and I was not prepared. And so
Hmm.
that opened my eyes and woke me up. So from then on, that's when I began my prepping journey, so to speak. And then I went about and I did a lot of research and I looked into a lot of websites and different types of preparedness information, especially when it comes to our state, because our state is totally different compared to other states. So we have different types of emergencies and natural disasters that occur in our islands where we are in the Pacific Ocean. And so we have tsunamis, hurricanes,
That's right.
earthquakes, flooding as well, high winds. So all of those things I needed to look into a little bit further to gain a little bit awareness and more knowledge and information into that. And then I hooked
Hmm.
up with the American Preppers Network, and seemingly they asked me to become a moderator for the state of Hawaii because there was nobody representing Hawaii as a prepper.
Hmm.
So, I obliged and I said yes, learning a lot of things for myself, but aware at the same time, that we needed to
Hmm.
prepare in this state because we're out in the middle of the ocean and we get about 90%
Yes.
of our goods and
Mhm.
products, consumables, either shipped or flown in here. So if there's ever shipping disruptions, there goes a lot of our goods. And we've seen that
That's
occur
right. Yeah.
over these past couple
Hmm.
of years. So, I think it's imperative for everyone in the state of Hawaii, no matter what island you're on, because Oahu is the hub and the rest of the islands
Yeah.
receive shipments. So, no matter what island you're on, you should always be prepared for anything and everything because when you take a look
That's
at
good.
things,
Yeah.
you prepare for college, you prepare for jobs. There's certain things that you always prepare for. You prepare for training your children in potty training, like a video that you showed, and you're preparing
Yeah.
every which way and every angle. And your first year, you're going to be trial
That's
and
right.
error
Yes.
throughout the entire year.
Hmm.
And that's how it was for me. Everything was, oh my gosh, this doesn't work. Oh, I just ruined this, and how do oh my gosh, so you're winging it most of the way.
And I think that preppers in general need to be very creative in their ingenuity in regards to problem solving because when you are in
Mm.
a crisis, you don't usually have all the tools on hand for various reasons. You can't get to the store or
Right.
whatever. You're there, so you have to kind of
Yeah.
make with what you have and kind of MacGyver everything, It really intrigued me to a crisp. I was like really surprised, first
Mm-hmm.
of all, that fires can like heat up
Yeah.
at that level of temperature
Right.
to like destroy cars, destroy structures. It wasn't just like wood or flammable items, but it was really shocking to see
Yeah.
like Teslas like being reduced to nothing, these highly technological cars and vehicles all
Mm-hmm.
burnt down to the crisp. I wanted to ask you because I mean, like myself, I know a lot of people are wondering
Mm.
what would we have done if we were in
Yeah.
that scenario. Um, but as a prepper, going one step above that, what would not only what you would have done in that scenario, say like you were in your home, there was no siren, there was no announcement about it, anything. What would you have done in that situation? And as a prepper, what would have been your like procedure, your protocol?
First of all, having a go bag and a get home bag. Get home bag is always in my car. Anything that occurs while I'm on the road anything, any kind of emergency, I can grab that bag and just go in the direction that I need to go with all the supplies, my emergency supplies that's in the bag. If I need to change what I'm wearing, everything is in that bag. The bag is not heavier than 30 pounds, at least maybe between 25 to 30. You know,
Mm.
you're going to want to be able to carry that backpack. You need to plan these things out ahead of time. You're running down these scenarios in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you get caught in the midst of a gridlock and you're going to have to leave your car behind, you know, you
Mm-hmm.
want to have a few emergency items with you just in case. You want to
That's
have
good.
numbers with you as well. If the electricity goes out, the power grid goes down, you're not going to be able to access any phone number on your phone. So
Mm.
having more than one is really important as well, so that everyone is on the same page. Just in case you got to change plan number one and or plan number two. If the fire's coming to the location where plan one
Mm-hmm.
was at, then oh no, you got to that plan. You know, you got to figure out another plan. But be aware of your surroundings and the environment you're in, because there's a lot of dry brush everywhere on the island, and I
Mm-hmm.
noticed the
Mm-hmm.
state doesn't even take care of it. So I have a miniature first aid kit, and in that I make sure that I put a couple dollars in there. Maybe a store might be open, I don't know, you know, and I can get whatever, you know. So I put a couple bills in there. I put small
Mm.
bills, you know, ones, fives, tens. Make sure you have everything that would take care of the little one's needs. Have a go bag for him as well, because everyone in your family is going to have one. Of course, the little ones are going to be much lighter, but you're going to carry the heavier load for them. But for me, I put it in a binder, preparedness binder
Mm-hmm.
that I have created with all of the preparedness information on food, water, shelter, first
Mm-hmm.
aid, you know, just everything is in there. All my documents, different papers are all in there. So I just grab that binder.
Is it just like a
Yeah, it's just
regular
a
binder?
regular folder. I don't know, it's like a material, and I zip it shut. If I go something, it would be my preparedness binder that has everything that I'm going to need.
Wow, that's good. You know, there's a few things that you had mentioned that I thought were really important. One is to have a plan of where you're going to go. As we learned in Maui,
Mm-hmm.
there were a lot of people trying to find their loved ones. And they didn't know where they
Mm.
were. They could have perished. They could have been in some shelter. They could have been in some area. And what made it complicated is that there wasn't any form of communication at that time. The phone lines were down. So I knew of a
Mm-hmm.
particular family. They lived on Oahu and they were going to travel to Maui to find their father, but they were hoping that he might be in some shelter or whatnot. And so, you know, all those things
Mm-hmm.
rush into your mind. But I think what would be good, and it does take some effort, but I think beforehand there's just have a family meeting and get together and say, okay, so in an event that the situation occurs, we have several possible locations to where we will be. We will make our way to. I love the idea of just having alternative meetups. There's a game out there and it's called 60 Seconds. It's like a RGP game. The whole game is like a survivor game. So you have 60 seconds, you're grabbing
Nice.
all these items, then you go under the bunker, and there the game really starts because you have yourself, you have your family, you have whatever items you grabbed, and that depending on the turn of events and stuff, whatever you have will determine how you fare in those situations that come along with the game. So it's really cool. It's called 60 Seconds. You may have only 60 seconds, or you may even have less than that. Like if you see fires all around you,
Yeah.
you just got to get out and leave. It would be idea to have everything with you, you know, instead of saying, okay, I have a folder for this, and
Ideally,
where's my first aid kit, and where's my, where's my water bottle or whatever, right?
you know, the reality is that's just how a lot of people are. They do not prepare because they figure it would never happen to them.
The one thing that I think about when I think about just being ready is even our physical health and being, because there were people that were not in the best health, or they weren't able to get around a lot. But there have been people who said, I was saved because someone assisted me because I wasn't able to get around a lot, or I wasn't able to, my health wasn't all that par. And I could imagine too, me having to run away from a burning fire that's moving, 80 miles an hour, running with my toddler, with my bug out bag, with his bug out bag, maybe it would be so disastrous if I couldn't do it. If I was I'm just exhausted or tired, or I'm not physically fit for this, because it does take effort. It does take a little physical agility to do that. And I think that's what some people don't even think about. Like, if you really want to be prepared, physical fitness, or a part to play when it comes to, just giving you that much more edge of survival. I mean, if you can outrun a fire, that is pretty amazing. Those are things that we think about. And again, it's not very practical because it does take effort to get physically fit, and it does take a level of discipline and sacrifice. But if you wanted to go there and being absolutely ready for any situation, being fit physically is definitely a plus. I have a wild card question that I just want to throw out there to you. You probably thought about it many times.
The sirens.
The sirens?
The sirens. Remember, you mentioned something about the sirens, right? So the missile alert, there's no siren there. You can't really rely on the sirens if you think about it. You're gonna have to rely on yourself. And if you see the smoke and the flames and everything, that's your alert. That's your siren right there.
Overall, just being aware. Be aware of what's happening, of your surroundings. Don't always listen to music while you're walking down the street. Listen, be very vigilant, very sober-minded of what's going on. Know your exits. Know if there's some situation, you should already know that there's a situation down the street before you walk into it. So if there's a situation, know where you're gonna run, know where you're going to exit. The common sense thing to do is to be vigilant, be sober-minded, be observant, know exactly what's going on, because if we're so focused on so many different things without knowing what's going on around us, then no siren in the world, actually. You could hear a siren and not take heed to it. I know people who hear the sirens, it's nothing, because again, they're in that mentality. Nothing's happening. It's a drill. But you just went into the wild card question. You've thought about this question before, I'm sure. You're in your home. Okay, you're in your home. You get an alert on your phone that says that a missile is headed towards Hawaii. This is for real now. What are your steps of action? You only have 15 minutes.
First step is to be calm. Literally. I was calm and I was thinking to myself, is this real? My husband called me and he was on his way home from work, and I was like, okay. I didn't go running out like a lunatic, all over creation. I mean, a lot of people did wherever they were. A lot of people were throwing their kids down manhole, which is understandable, for that experience. If a missile did come, there's nothing nobody can do.
I mean, I guess, that's something to think about, which is great. And it's a great question. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. If you had a hot mic, and what you're going to say is going to be broadcast all over the world, every ear will hear what you say, and you had this platform for 2 minutes, what would you share to the world?
Basically, in a nutshell, when you help others, you're helping yourself. Don't be selfish, be selfless. Lead a life of selflessness, always, continuously. Make the most of your life. and do everything and anything, experience everything and anything, go on all kinds of adventures while you can, while you still have your health, while things are available to you at your disposal. But overall, be kind to each other, be of service to each other, love one another, understand one another, have compassion and tremendous understanding for everyone. And all the things that you do throughout every day of your life, do from the heart, only the heart, nothing else.
Thank you so much again, Bonnie, for coming on. And yeah, I will hear from you soon. I will definitely go follow her YouTube channel. She provides these insights. It's not just insights, but it's very relevant to the times that we live in. And she provides a really great perspective on so many issues that are going on right now that affect all of us globally as well as locally. So thank you so much again, Bonnie. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thank you.